Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to the channel. Worst ever, worst ever April Fool, says Michael Ross. It was, it was the worst April Fool. The whole video was an April Fool. What else do you want to do on a Monday morning? Why take life so seriously? Why take life so serious? Anyway, welcome back to the channel. Yes, this morning's video was just one big April Fool's video. It was all done in jest, just a little bit of light entertainment. After all, YouTube is an entertainment platform. If you want mainstream media and if you want professional journalism, fuck off to fucking the BBC or Sky. There you go, I've said it. Anyway, my best told me we'd re-signed higher. Oh, there you go. There you go. Right, let's get some of the comments in. Obviously, Parkhead Boy is in the house. William Martin's in the house. Ross Michael's in the house. Street Shitter's in the house. Sam Mack's in the house. Michael Big Dom's in the house. I'm not, or I did not watch you. Huh? What? What are you talking about? Oh, at the start, we just started. Um, there's a man that scored another 2 goals for Blackburn today, was did he? Well, there you go. William Martin says, I nearly wrote on the Celtic way. Did you hear about the Green Brigade? You should have done it. You should have done it. Because those professional journalists fucking hate me. Yes, this channel is not a professional journalism channel. If you want to if you want professional journalism, get off YouTube. YouTube isn't a professional journalist platform. Go to Sky, go to BBC if you want journalist push. Anyway, John, how are you? John is in the house. I've not spoke to you for a while. John, how is things? How's my brother doing? His van's off the road again, and my mother's here. So there you go. The Green Brigade joke wasn't funny. Ah, anyway, right, let's get some Celtic news that is kicking about. Obviously, there's a few people said that look, with the first half performance yesterday, with the first half, I've been reading a few of the comments online, and a few of the people have been saying, look, that first half performance yesterday was terrible. How are we expecting to win the league with that performance? And they're citing the fact that the penalty that wasn't given. Anyone voted for the Player of the Year yet? My God, trying to pick a Legends goal was impossible. Nope, no, they're not. Let's get a recruitment team in as soon as possible. Yes, Big Dom, we need that. Definitely need that. Hope everyone had a great Easter. I've been working today. I'm a slave to this. It's not even the system. I was grinding on marble floor. Yeah, let's talk about the football yesterday. First half was absolutely terrible. I was expecting to come on at half time and I was like, what a horrible game. What an absolutely horrible game it was yesterday. But I knew that we would. I knew that we would score. I knew we would win the game. You know, it was a nice open game. They didn't sit back. Celtic were just terrible. It's going to be a completely different game next week on a decent pitch and a team that likes to have a bit of a go. Mikey Moyes, Fife for life. Hail, hail, Michael. A few Fifers in tonight. John, van's up and running again. New battery purchase. Broke his heart. Mum! Go tell her. His van's working again. Good evening, Baz and Troops. Hope you're good. Yes, I am, Lorna. And I see that. Did you comment this morning? I've never seen your comment. I've never checked all the comments, to be fair. Did you fall for the April Fool this morning? Explain what the fuck we need to do to get a penalty. We don't. That's as simple as that. See, when we go to the end of the season, we should not be looking to try and get anything from VAR, anything from the referees. We need to score goals in open play. Never mind trying to get penalties. There's a team across the other end of the city that spends most games trying to gain a penalty, and now they're saying that they've got a defender that's one of the top goal scorers for a fuck off. He's a defender that scored penalties. They go down like flies around shite. That team. They're going to do it next week. Be very careful, Celtic, next week, because that lot are going to dive like kind of who's knickers going down on a Saturday night. Anyway, do you still think we can't get a slow-mo penalty? We shouldn't be concentrating on trying to get a penalty. Forget trying to get a penalty. Win the game in open play. Win the game in open play. That's what I say. Chopwell says that pitch causes problems. We took half to get used to it. Yes, we did that. It was a terrible pitch. When you looked at it, it was absolutely terrible. You can buy better fake grass down at the DIY store in Wherastay. Sevco will try every trick in the book. Yes, they will. Virginia Linlithgow rebels in the house. There we go. Linlithgow. It's a fantastic part of the world. And I love Linlithgow's really nice. Anyway, Nico Kuhn has been speaking to the media after his Man of the Match award yesterday. And I was maybe a bit harsh on him after the game yesterday because I watched some of it back and was it a bit harsh? I think if he can get his final third thing into shape, we've got a cracking little player on our hands. I mean, he's definitely coming on to a game. He was taking on players. You know, it was probably right that he got man of the match, even though he didn't finish the game. But when you look at it, his final ball wasn't as good as what it could be. Wasn't as good as what it could be. So we couldn't talking about. He's been talking about obviously his illness that he had when he first came to Celtic. And he says, when I first came to Celtic, he says, I was put on running with Callum McGregor. I was put on training sessions with Callum McGregor. And he's the worst partner you can have because the guy doesn't stop. He doesn't even take a drink and breaks. So Kuhn was getting, Nicholas was getting cramps his first week in, and Callum McGregor broke him. Callum McGregor broke him. It's absolutely brilliant. Anyway, we paid 3 million for him. It looks as if he's coming good. I've always said when you bring someone in the summer in the Christmas window, when you bring someone in the Christmas window, they need that 6-month period to bed in because you think about it, they had a winter. They didn't have. They didn't have a pre-season because of their winter shutdown. So he's basically played right through. Previous managers have said that also. Look, give the player when a player comes in at Christmas time, don't expect them to make a massive impact. Although Rio Hati, when he came in at that time of year, he made a massive impact for Celtic for half the season. But I just think that some players sometimes just need a little bit of time. And yes, let's talk about Hati. Let's talk about Hati. How good was it to have him back yesterday? I'm going to feel sorry for the player that gets dropped when Callum McGregor walks back into the team next week. Because I do think that even though Tomoki Iwata played good, I thought Hati had a fantastic game. It was good to see him back. It looks as if he's over his injuries. I think that Rio Hati is one player that can win us the league. Definitely a player that can win us the league. And it'd be good to see Callum McGregor back. I feel sorry for Tomoki Iwata. He's not done too much wrong. He's a fine, good player. But we need our most experienced players next week. We need our most experienced players. And Callum McGregor comes into that category due to the fact he is our captain. And it'll be good to see him back on the pitch. So we'll have plenty to talk about all this week. There has been a little bit of transfer speculation going around the last couple of days about an Armenian playmaker who currently plays in Russia. Celtic have been setting their sights on Edward Sibist. Fucking name when I say it. He's called Edward. That's all you need to know. He plays for Transenbor. Fucking just not even the way to say that either. Fucking having a great day. How long have we got? 15 minutes, even better. Celtic are no shrinking violets when it comes to buying players from Russia. Remember, we've got Sed Haksabanovic from Russia. You remember him? And we also got Karel Starfelt. We got Karel Starfelt a couple of seasons ago. So Celtic do like to test the water in that market. Is it a player that is going to come into Celtic? How many players do we need at Celtic this summer? And we're obviously going to go into the Champions League. I mean, we need to get this season out the window first. We need to get this out the window first. I'm going to jump into the comments and see what you're saying because there seems to be a lot of hilarity. What is Michael saying? I need to jump right back here. My grass is really expensive. I bet you it is. Joe says it's not about us trying to get penalties. It's about us being cute enough not to concede next week. Yes, definitely. Sky Bet has even money on a penalty at Ibrox. Well, there you go. My dog has a better grass. Jesus. Michael, Lorna, do you have a lot of grass or do you just have a real... Oh, Jesus, come on. I believe I read that out loud, man. Right, moving on swiftly. Moving on swiftly. What's Mark asking? I've no idea. Parkhead boy, Baz, all we care about is Sunday. Yes, it is Sunday. Let's forget the talk of transfer talk. Let's forget to talk about who's going to come in. We're going to need a goalkeeper. We still need a left back. For starters, you're right there, Big Dom. You just typed that as I was saying it. And yeah, Saturday, Sunday is going to be a massive, massive game. We seem to be coming into a little bit of form. Are we coming into a bit of form, or are we just come? Is all the players getting fit at the right time? And how important is that to Celtic? How important is it to have all the players coming back at the right time? When you think about the last couple of seasons, the manager previously said it was all about maintaining the fitness and getting players to hit their peak performance at this time of year. The training schedules were all set up so that they gradually increased their strength and all the rest of it, and they were to hit their peak performance the last quarter of the season. We're into that last quarter of the season. It's the money making time. It's the championship making time, and basically, by the looks of it, if everything goes the way that people think it's going to be 3 games against that team across the city to win a double. And they're going to think, perfect, we could win a treble by beating that lot. Do you know what I mean? I still think that we'll win this weekend. I don't think there's nothing that comes from them that will fear us. The only thing is making sure that they don't get a penalty, because they're definitely going to get a penalty. They're not. It's not a impossible task, as we showed at the beginning of the season and you got to think, at the beginning of the season when we beat them at Ibrox, we had a lot of players out injured. We had a lot of players out injured then. We don't have those players out injured now. Those players aren't out injured. So getting all our first team players back, hitting a bit of good form, hitting a bit of fitness is probably what we need. O'Reilly, Hati, will Riley and Hati be here next season? Says Big Dom. Let's get the season over and done with first, because I think if we win the championship and if we win the league, it puts Celtic in a nice place for going into the Champions League. And players, you've got to remember, some players might say, yeah, might want to move on, but some players might want another crack at the Champions League. But we've shown in the past that, look, even though we're going into the Champions League, some players just go, do you know what? I want to move to Spain for my girlfriend. I want to move to Saudi Arabia for the cash. And you can't factor that in, if you like. Will the 2 players be here? I think one player will go out of the 2 of them, and it all depends which one gets the biggest fee. I can't see Celtic selling 2 of their main players in the midfield. If we do that, we're going into the champion. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it, because then you just get thinking about all the negative permutations that could happen that if Celtic do win the league and then we start selling our best players. And then we've got to bring players in that have never played in the Champions League before, or never played at that level. And look what's happened the last couple of years. We should be building, for fuck's sake. We should be building. We should be building and going forward and thinking, right, we're going to go into this Champions League and let's try and hold a good account of ourselves. Anyway, Tony says Rangers won, Celtic 3 at the weekend. Chilwell says the Huns have their players back too, so it's all about who has the best. Look, Chilwell, when it comes to it, we've got the best players. It's as simple as that. You're not going to tell me that team that they have is a better squad than Celtic. We've done it. What you need to remember about is going into this game at the weekend, it's a pressure game for them. It's a must-win game for them, because they know if they can win at their home ground, right, it takes a bit of pressure off them, because they win their game in hand and then they've got a good few points in front. We then need them to slip up. If we win at Ibrox, it then puts the pressure on them even more, because then they need to win their game in hand against Dundee, which they might likely will do. But then they've got to come back to Celtic Park, and this is why it's the pressure's all on them to make sure that they try and get the win. So they have to take the risks, and that can play into Celtic's hands. So that when they try and take risks, we're great at hitting on the counter. We're absolutely fantastic at hitting on the counter, and I think that a couple of goals will come from a counter attack next weekend. Anyway, we win, best players, better club, better manager, full stop. He says, Michael Ross says, it's always a must win. We must win. It is always a must win against them, but when you look at what's at stake between now and the end of the season, and I want to win the Scottish Cup final because of the date that the Scottish Cup. I think it's written in the history. It's written in the stars. It's written in the stars. It's just a derby win, says Jason. I'd take a draw. Rodney, you always come out with really good comments, and I think a draw would be fantastic for Celtic. It keeps us in touch with them, and then it brings them back to Celtic Park. We win at Celtic Park. It takes it to the last day of the season, and then Celtic win the league by 1 point. I'd absolutely love that because the pain that they would have of losing the league on the last day would be absolutely fantastic. I fancy Dundee to take something from them next week. I fancy Dundee to take something off them the day that the game was going to originally be played. But I'm not too sure now. We could have 3 derbies in 9 games. Yes, we could, Jeffrey. We could, and that's the 3 must-win games. Every game's a must-win game. Let's face it. But imagine beating them 3 times. Can we beat them 3 times? I'm going to say at all points, for us to win the league and win the Scottish Cup, it means that we need to draw at Ibrox. If we win at Ibrox, there could be a little bit of a backlash for them. But then you never know. You never know. And when it comes to the cup game, well, it's just going to. I mean, we've got to get to the final first. Let's not undermine the semi-finals. Let's not undermine the semi-finals by any means, because anything could happen in a semi-final of Scottish football. The draw suits us more than them. Yeah, it does, and that's why I'm thinking I would rather take a draw. I'd rather take a draw than get beat. I think if worst case scenario, we get a draw at the weekend, and a bit of a stalemate would be an interesting one. And John says, even better, winning the league by 1 goal. Yes, winning the league by 1 goal would be even better. And we're 1 goal in front at the moment, aren't we? Norman says, Dundee will take nothing from them. The officials won't allow it. Well, let's not even talk about that yet. They have 12 on their team. Yes, they do that. They do that. Anyway, right. We've been on for 17 minutes. I'm only having a quick live tonight. Monbaz, they get as many pens as they need. There's the dog. Yeah, I'm coming. I'm getting chased out the door. Flying Haggis says, I take a draw right now. Chowbell says, clearly I want to win. But if it's a draw, it suits me. Not interested in a draw. Victory only, says Michael Ross. Clement, tactical genius, remember. David, Martin David, I must apologise. You're in too late. I'm having a quick evening tonight. My mother is over from Scotland, so we're going out for a meal in about 5 minutes' time. Joseph, you're getting high bars. Win 3 times against them. Celtic will have to play fast, direct for goals. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Can Celtic play that? I think so, yeah. Win with a dodgy penalty. The banter would be great. Yes. Yes, it would that. It would that. Anyway, on that note, I'm going out for dinner with my mother. And it'll be a serious video tomorrow morning. There won't be any silly April Fool's videos tomorrow morning. So on that note, have a fantastic day. Evening, Celtic fans all around